Kuzan is nuts, being one of the strongest characters in the entire series, a former admiral and protege of Garp the hero, and in my eyes, the true backbone of the Blackbeard Pirates. Don't get me wrong, this crew is full of powerhouses and monsters, but every time they show up on screen, they're getting beaten up and honestly looking like a bunch of scrub lords, to the point many people in the community already think the Straw Hats could defeat the Blackbeard Pirates, which is wild. But Kuzan is a playmaker, and him joining the crew changes everything, as this one guy is stronger than all of the Titanic captains minus Blackbeard combined. And so today we will be discussing just how strong Kuzan is, as we've already done previous videos on Akainu and Kizu, so we might as well wrap up the original Admiral trio with Kuzan, as he's starting to get a lot more limelight or spotlight in the series. So earlier I said that Kuzan is stronger than all of the Titanic captains outside of Blackbeard, because it's true, they are full of monsters low-key, but just the way they're portrayed on screen is just so pitiful, because they're always getting dogged on, to the point like they're just so scrubby you can wash your dishes with these guys. And Kuzan, when he first met Blackbeard a year and a half ago, he actually defeated the entire crew twice in just a few seconds, freezing them instantly, and that right there is why Kuzan is such a formidable opponent, due to the mastery of his devil fruit, which allows him to manipulate, control, generate, and turn into ice, or well, particularly cold. You have Fujitora, who can summon meteors at will and summon enough rubble that can cover an entire island. You have Green Bull, which a lot of people like to rag on, but he's extremely powerful. He was able to defeat Weevil, who's said to have similar physical power to that of a prime young Whitebeard. And Green Bull, wherever he walked, was able to create a land of forest and grass and greenery in Wano, and that covered all of Udon, which was pretty massive. And then you have Kuzan on multiple occasions creating continent sizes of ice on the ocean, and even making a path from one island to another for Nico Robin to escape. And he instantly froze 2 tsunamis that engulfed Marineford, created by Whitebeard. This guy's a freak. And of course, the best example was his fight during Akainu, where not only did he last 10 days, having the longest fight in One Piece history against Akainu, but also was at a disadvantage, as Akainu's ability is magma, was still able to go toe to toe with this guy for 10 straight days, and their battle was so fierce it literally changed the climate and the island itself of Punk Hazard, where one half is made of fire and magma and volcanoes and the other is covered in ice. So clearly we already know that Kuzan is an island level threat, which many people, myself included, believe that was the work of both of their awakenings, as I do believe the admirals, at least Aokiji and Akainu, have awakened their devil fruit, and the result of Punk Hazard was due to that, which is insane, as we haven't seen an actual Logia awakening yet. According to Doflamingo, at least for Paramecia, an awakening allows the user to affect the surrounding area rather than just their body. So in a sense, Aokiji should be able to turn like the ground or mountains or trees into actual ice, and possibly manipulate the weather as well. I do believe the Logia awakening will be the strongest we have seen in the entire series, and there is a reason Oda is waiting to showcase their true capabilities. His devil fruit is so dangerous, as he's a Logia, he's invincible to all attacks unless it's with haki, his elemental counter, the sea or sea stone. He can generate, manipulate, and control an almost infinite amount of ice, as well as he can instantly freeze an opponent and shatter them into pieces. We have seen him do this countless times, as when he defeated Jozu in Marineford War in an instant when he was distracted, making his arm break, and he was never seen in the war again. He defeated Cracker in the recent cover story. Although we haven't seen the full battle, it was probably not that long. And this is the same Cracker that took Luffy 10 hours with the help of Nami just to defeat, and this was after he defeated Doflamingo. Basically took out Dofi in an instant, even though he broke out of the ice. Even Dofi wanted none of the smoke, and this is the same Doflamingo that had no problem squabbling with Fujitora, so that should let you know just how much of a menace Kuzan is. And mind you, up until recently, it seemed as if Kuzan's fighting style was devil fruit oriented. He'd fight from long range or just instantly freeze you, but as we've seen during his fight with Garp, is that this man can throw hands and he can really squabble for real with the best of them. which makes sense as he was Garp's protege, and is seen in chapter 1087. He ended up matching the strength of Garp at one point. Although he didn't initially have this strength, he had to work for it, he had to gain it. As Brand New said, strength isn't innate, heroes are made, not born. Garp took him under his wing and they did the battleship Sandbags, where they used no haki and no devil fruit, and as time went on, Aokiji eventually matched the power of Garp. So physically, these two are almost or about equal, which is pretty impressive in my opinion. And when these guys clashed with their attacks, both of them got blown back, implying yet again that these guys are equal in terms of strength, which is impressive as this is the same Garp that at one point used mountains as sandbags in order to train to defeat Don Chinjao. But of course, he's gotten a lot older and he's not the same as he used to be, but still capable of throwing down with characters that are admirals. And there is another hint from Oda showing that these guys are relatively around the same set of strength, when it was revealed that Garp actually has a bounty placed on him by the Cross Guild, and he's worth the same as an admiral, which is 3 billion, which is impressive for Garp, as it shows even in his old age, he's still considered a danger on the same level as an admiral. And Kuzan is able to match him in power. Of course, he's also pretty adept at haki, as he does know the advanced form of armament haki, as alongside the two other admirals, they are able to stop the Whitebeard's earthquake. He also seems to have pretty adept observation haki, as he was able to sense Jozu attacking him, as well as dodging a fatal blow from Whitebeard during Marineford War, so that's pretty impressive. Because he was a former admiral, that would mean that he would have a 3 billion bounty if he were still in the Marines, which in bounty scaling, that would put him in the same range as Luffy, Law, Kid, the 3 admirals, and Garp, which is pretty impressive but makes a lot of sense. He fought akainu for 10 days with a devil fruit disadvantage. He's fighting toe-to-toe with Garp and equaling him in terms of physical strength. Obviously, bounties aren't the end-all be-all, as Zoro and Sanji have smaller bounties than King or Queen, as well as Buggy has a higher bounty than all of these guys, which is pretty dumb, and in my opinion, Luffy should have a higher bounty as well, but it is what it is at this point. I think based off of the feats, the danger level, and Aokiji's experience, I actually think this is a fair assessment of Kuzan, as he is one of the strongest characters in the entire series, especially with his devil fruit, and that the world is mostly covered with sea, so he's actually quite a threat to most pirates out there, as he can just freeze large portions of the ocean. He's pretty adept at haki, former protege of Garp, and now under the Blackbeard Pirates. This guy is an absolute menace.